Information tonight about the moped driver who was killed in a crash during a police pursuit that he had nothing to do with. It happened in Northwest D.C. yesterday, and there's going to be charges now against the 3 people who were in the car that was getting chased by police that eventually hit this moped driver. U.S. Park Police have now confirmed that their officers were the ones who were pursuing what was apparently a stolen car when it crashed into the moped and another vehicle. As News 4's Catalina Pérez de Armiñán reports, it's just the latest crash involving Park Police in D.C. since the surge of federal officers last August.
D.C. police have now identified the victim and charged the suspects in a deadly crash that happened in Northwest D.C. during a car chase this weekend. U.S. Park Police says the driver of a stolen vehicle was heading northbound on Rock Creek Parkway Saturday afternoon when officers tried to conduct a traffic stop. Police say the driver took off, exiting the parkway and crossing the William Howard Taft Bridge on Connecticut Avenue. That's where Park Police says the driver drove into oncoming traffic and hit a moped driver who later died. D.C. police says the victim was 46-year-old Norberto Mesa of Hyattsville, Maryland. Judith Davis says she was walking on the bridge a few minutes before he was hit.
Why the speed? Why so many police cars? Why the chase like that? Why do it where there are so many pedestrians here?
The U.S. Park Police report says the fleeing driver left the scene and moments later struck a Diplomat vehicle on the other end of the bridge. One of the people in that car was later taken to the hospital. U.S. Park Police says there were 3 people in the fleeing car who tried to run from the second crash. They were all arrested and taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. D.C. police identified the driver of the fleeing vehicle as 24-year-old Thomas Anderson of Northeast D.C. He has been charged with second-degree murder. The 2 other people in the vehicle, 19-year-old Donnie Palacios of Southeast D.C. and a 16-year-old of Fort Washington, Maryland, were charged with unauthorized use of a vehicle during a crime of violence. But it's not the first time a U.S. Park Police chase ends badly in D.C. News 4 has reported on a series of recent crashes involving the agency that have resulted in injuries or death. On March 12th, a teen was killed and 2 passengers were injured in another pursuit. On May 3rd, another chase ended in a crash that left a man paralyzed after a driver in a fleeing vehicle hit him. Here's what Mayor Muriel Bowser said to News 4 when asked about that pursuit.
Here's the thing with car chases. People get hurt, and it's not always the bad guys. And nobody should be speeding for minor crimes in the city.
A new policy put in place in August at the beginning of the federal search says U.S. Park Police may now initiate vehicular pursuits when the suspect is wanted for or suspected of committing a felony offense, or when a threat exists to the public based on the suspect's actions. The policy change led to laughter at a White House cabinet meeting.
We got that rule changed in 24 hours because of President Trump's leadership. The next night they had so much fun. They pulled people over, they started to take off, they chased them, they stopped them.
D.C. police are handling the investigation of yesterday's deadly crash. U.S. Park Police say they will also conduct an internal review, as they do with all pursuits, to ensure compliance with the agency's policies. In a statement today, Park Police said criminals who flee from law enforcement put innocent people in danger, and public safety is the agency's highest priority. Catalina Pérez de Armiñán, News 4.